All right, let's talk Caleb Williams, who this was not an awful day from Caleb Williams. There definitely were some awful mistakes, though, by him that ultimately were kind of the difference in this one. So there was some good. In fact, it started off very good. We can start there. So this play, the one you see on your screen, this is a good Ben Johnson play, really. Play action towards the top of the screen, roll out towards the bottom of the screen. Colson Loveland, the first round pick, going towards the bottom of the screen as well. Watch as when Williams runs this play action, just no one picks up Loveland. This is exactly what you want to have happen. Scheme up, some easy plays for Williams, right? Still, Caleb does have to make an off-balance throw, but he's able to do it. Loveland's able to pick up the first down and then some, a little bit more than the first down. So, nice play on that one. But it wasn't just the scheme that was working. Like over here, Rome Odunze continues to have a really nice season. This is a, over the middle route against man coverage. Definitely a type of plays that can work. So, it's not like you're getting schemed open, but coach is still putting you in position to succeed, right? Williams is going to take the snap, and you see over the middle, it's just a really nice route by Odunze. Now, you're still going to need a good throw to make sure that you can convert here. However, a good throw it is. Well done by Caleb Williams, well done by Rome Odunze, and they're able to make the play work that way. So, again, some stuff with that. And also, let's give Caleb Williams some credit for some of these earlier plays. So this is a 3rd down and 6. Obviously you'd love to have 3 points, but you want more than that if you can get it. Williams is going to take the snap, and as of right here, this just really isn't well executed by Chicago. You see those two players going over the middle, kind of running into each. Seems like they're trying to go for some sort of pick play rub route. Ultimately, all they did was slow themselves down. So not exactly how you draw that one up. And again, this is where we can talk about play calling all we want, but ultimately the players have to execute, and they're not executing here, at least not yet. But watch what Williams is going to do. Watch him get outside the pocket. Eventually, this play develops the way you kind of want it to. Really, just Odunze just made a good play in kind of scramble drill to get open enough that Williams is able to hit him, and they're able to pick up a good gain that way. So, some really good stuff early on. It would not stay that way. I think the Ravens kind of had a good scheme in this one. Here, you're going to see it's going to be a blitzing play and a blitz pickup situation. So you have first, there's 2 defensive linemen, so you got to block those guys. Guard and tackle block those guys. Okay, simple enough. Now, it's worth mentioning Chicago also has a halfback and a tight end who appears that are both supposed to, start off blocking and then run a route. Tight end towards the edge, the halfback kind of more up the middle. That Baltimore player is going to be rushing the passer, and there has to be an answer for this. The center's blocking towards the right. Maybe it's the center who picks it up. Maybe it's the back. One of those two you would think is what you would want. But here, though, just nothing. It just goes wrong, really. And that there's sometimes you see these blitzes, and you're like, well, what is an offense supposed to do? That's just really tough to stop. There could have been an option here, and I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know if you want to say coaching, Caleb Williams' fault, the back's fault, the center's fault, whoever. Ultimately, they just have to work together and be more cohesive in making this play work. On top of this, Caleb Williams' attempt to throw this ball goes horribly wrong. He only gets about a yard further down the field. That's an easy intentional grounding. I don't know if I've ever seen an intentional grounding flag get thrown that quickly. Usually they take forever, but the ref just threw it right away. He's like, I know this didn't, this did not work. Now, heading over here, again, the Bears did answer. Now, it took a bit, right? You see the score is now 16-6. They find themselves down, have worked inside field goal range, but you want 7 here. Again, 3 is kind of what you need in this situation, but that puts your defense, in a much tougher situation where they can't give up any more points or you're down 2 scores again. If you get a touchdown, well, even if the defense gives up 3, you're still okay. You see the Ravens are going to try and blitz again, so Ben Johnson's going to adjust. Watch as Caleb Williams takes the snap, and instead of them trying to pass through the blitz, they simply just set up a screen pass. You have now DeAndre Swift, and because there was such a heavy blitz and such an emphasis on getting players through, well, now you can simply just block the one guy who was supposed to cover Swift, and you're off to the races. Watch as Swift decides to actually outrun his offensive lineman a little bit, and it nearly works. They get to the 5-yard. I mean, it does work. They get to the 5-yard line. Nearly really works for a touchdown. Ultimately, they were still able to score the touchdown and make it a 3-point game. And hey, you know what? To make things better, they got to this point, which means they have the ball, 9 minutes left. Granted, very deep in their own territory at their own 4-yard line, but hey, get a nice drive here, get into field goal range, you can tie the game. So, real opportunity. Odunze is going to go over the middle against zone coverage on this play. Williams takes a snap, and one thing is the setup route underneath is working, right? You see those Baltimore players designed to cover over the middle are have stepped in to cover up the setup route. Setup route's always very important. So that's what Williams is looking at. He sees that has been taken care of. He has room to throw it over the top of them. And that's what he's going to do. But it's number 2 for Baltimore. That's Nate Wiggins, who he was the corner on the top of the screen. He just hangs with his assigned man throughout this play. He sees where this route is going, knows no one else is going to get into his zone. So while Dunze's trying to get open, Wiggins hangs with him, and Williams has to notice that. He does not. Because of that, it's a pick. This could have been a pick 6. It was pretty close if Wiggins doesn't just, couldn't quite keep himself in bounds there, but ultimately it set them up inside the 10. The Ravens did punch it in, and now you're down 2 scores. And that was essentially the end of the game. Like, they never were able to really have a chance again. So, again, while you can make some mistakes here and there, this was a backbreaking one, and one you can't make that mistake there. Even if you have to punt the ball away, it still gives you a chance because you're only down 3. Being down 10, it's just a whole different game. And heading over here, while we're on mistakes, I'm going to pause this in just a second, but while we're on mistakes, this whole sequence was kind of a mess towards the end here. So the Bears now find themselves down 14. It's 30-16. So, they're in a tough spot. They got inside the 5 with about 2 minutes left. So, you punch the ball in, you need an onside kick, but if you get the onside kick, well, then you have a chance. Well, okay, now it's a minute and a half later, so that's not ideal. They really struggled to punch it in, but at least on 4th and goal, at this point, you're basically playing for if you score a touchdown, then, you can say, hey, we only lost by 7 at the end of it, and then in 2 months, everyone forgets what happened and just looks at the score and say, oh, you only lost by 7 against Baltimore. Doesn't mean much, but doesn't mean nothing. And again, score here, you do technically have a chance if you can hit the onside kick. Williams is going to take the snap. They actually get someone wide open. It's DJ Moore. The Ravens blow to coverage, and Williams just whiffs on the throw. And because of that, that's a ball game. Again, would have taken a lot anyway, but that was essentially what iced it. And so while there was some good, again, it just feels kind of more of the same for this Bears offense right now, which is you see some good. It's certainly much better than last year, but it's still not a well-oiled machine right now. It's still a little bit clunky, and they just have to fix some of these issues. Again, Williams is giving you some plays above what you expect, right? That play I showed you earlier was a play that did not work as designed, but Williams was able to still find a way to make it work. You see those plays, but you got to cut down on the mistakes, and especially in the big moments, right? That interception just can't happen, and if it doesn't happen, there's a very real chance the Bears win this game and are 5-2. Now 4-3. Again, you want to be a playoff team. It's very much possible in the NFC, although, again, with this loss, they're currently behind the Eagles, Packers, Lions, Buccaneers, Seahawks, and Rams and 49ers. Still puts them in the 8th spot right now, but you would have had a real chance to, to keep climbing up had you found a way to win this one. So, definitely they would have at least been a top 7 team. So definitely have to kind of clean up these mistakes down the road. Fortunately for them, Bengals and Giants are the next 2 games. Those both feel winnable, and even the Vikings have been up and down this year. So, got a chance to continue to rack up some wins, but definitely a rough loss for them here. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.